Hey everybody. So in today's video, time to trim my bushes. And we're going to go over and review my brand new Ego hedge trimmer that I got a while back but have never used. Because as you can see, I'm in some dire need of trimming some bushes. We're going to talk about the Ego trimmer, and we're going to talk about how to prevent some issues that I had last year with some of my burning bushes, and how you can prevent the damage and death of some of your shrubs and bushes. So let's go. Now this is going to be the first time that I've used this trimmer. Last year I'd actually made a video about trimming your hedges and using a hedge trimmer, but in doing so I kind of had a problem. I have trimmed bushes with a pair of electric corded hedge trimmers for probably 30-40 years, but for the first time after 46 years of living, I did this. Totally cut right through my power cord. Now, the good news is, not a big deal. Nobody was hurt in the filming of that video. But what did happen was that I was able to actually salvage that cord. So I've got these burning bushes. I have not ever trimmed this one. It needs to be trimmed. I've got these bushes back here, these sand cherries. This one is a sand cherry, but it is struggling this year and it's turning yellow. And after having done some research, it's due to low nitrogen. So we're going to add some nitrogen to this plant, see if we can't get it to get back to its natural color, and go from there. Now, this is the first time I've even had this out since I took it out of the box. In fact, I haven't even pulled the sheath off the blades. Ooh-wee. It's nice, super nice. Now this is a 24-inch hedge trimmer with the 56-volt battery on it. Now, just a quick little piece of advice. If you have the Ego products, one of the great things is their batteries. One of the bad things is their batteries are excellent, but they cost a lot of money. Now, there is a slight workaround in the hedge trimmer. Usually you can pick these batteries up for brand new, for all by themselves, just the battery, for $120, $130. If you include it with the hedge trimmer, the total package with the battery and the hedge trimmer is about $180 to $195. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, but how this operates is that this hedge trimmer has a safety lock here. As you can see, it locks the trigger. Once I push this, I'm able to push the trigger in. But wait, that's not it.
But wait, there's more. Hang on to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer.
It won't even activate. Well, why not? Because the other secondary safety is right here on this handle, this green. So now I unlock, pull the trigger, and then when I pull on this handle here, she operates. So they've definitely gone a long way to make sure that you always are keeping yourself safe, and if your hand were to ever lose contact with this handle, it would automatically shut it off. So if it swung down, it wouldn't hit you or anybody else. But they do that just as secondary precautions to keep you safe and keep you from lopping off a finger.
Onto the Pope's nose like so. Oh! Now I've done it. I've cut the dickens out of my finger. Well, I'm glad in a way this happened. You know, accidents do occur from time to time in the kitchen. We've never really discussed what to do. First, you must stop the bleeding.
Now, before I get started on demoing the hedge trimmer from Ego, I want to talk a little bit about this bush. This bush is a replacement from last year. Last year I had a burning bush just like this one that was in a spot, but for some reason within the first couple months of the year it started to turn brown. It started to get some bronzy looking colors on top of the leaves, and then within just a short while it looked like fall had already come and the leaves literally turned brown and fell right off. Now the video that I did as to what was happening with this, I'll link in the description below, but let's talk a little bit about it and how you can prevent it so your plants don't die. Now, in referencing back to this plant, this is the original one from last year, and it was struggling. It was half as bad as the other one that was out front and eventually died, and we pulled it out and replaced it. But this one is showing some of the same similar signs. This bronzy looking color on top of these leaves are the results of two spotted spider mites.
Yeah, they are. They're not okay.
She doesn't even know what she's talking about. She just
These
wants
brown spots on these leaves are
the
spiders.
Spider mites. You want to see them?
Nope, not
They're
really.
right there.
See you later.
Roll sound.
Rolling. Sound production, take 2.
And these leaves are already bronzing, and they're the result of these little bugs, and you can see them right there. They're called two-spotted spider mites, and they're tiny little bugs that will literally live on the bottom sides of the leaves and then attach themselves to the harder stems of the plant and literally suck the life or the sap completely out of the plant and eventually kill it. Now there's a way to treat this. We're going to run over that now. Actually, I'm going to make a correction. We're going to trim this. We're going to trim all this bad portion of the plant off, or the part that's starting to go. We're going to trim it down to the shape we want, then I'm going to treat it. So if you've ever had your kids say, the only reason you had me was so that I could be your slave, well,
Don't put me on camera. I will shoot you. Put me on camera.
guess I better not let that saying go to waste, huh? But the question is, did I have you so I could be your personal ATM? No. Now, one of the biggest things when you're done with your hedge trimmer is to make sure that you take care of it. If you don't take care of it, it's not going to last, and then it's going to fall apart, and you're just wasting your money. And if there's one thing I hate to do, I hate wasting and urinating money down the drain when it's not necessary. Now, one of the ways that you can help keep your hedge trimmer clean and up to snuff is by oiling it. Now, oil is not WD-40. WD-40 is a penetrating oil, and it has its purposes, but you don't use WD-40 on hedge trimmer blades. It's just not the right oil. It's not what you're thinking, but everybody seems to think, oh, that's what you use. WD-40 solves everything. It's the snake oil that everybody turns to thinking that that's what they should be using, and it's not. So I clean my hedge trimmer by placing, this is just an all-in-one it's a multi-purpose oil, but I put a drop on every blade, and this is just to clean off some of this debris and the junk, because those branches were wet. Now notice, I didn't have the battery attached, and yes, the chances of having started that were pretty low, but just for safety's sakes, don't leave the power source connected before you are ready to actually turn it on. Okay, now as you noticed, I pressed on that just enough to get my teeth exposed. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to use that oil that has now gotten on there and wipe that off and see if I can't clear some of that debris. Disconnect the battery. Again, safety first. I don't need to accidentally have that thing go off. And then I'm going to use a rag let freedom ring. Love that sound, but it makes it awful hard when you're trying to shoot a video. Alright, so we're going to wipe all the teeth off and just see if we can get any of that debris up and off. Also, clean off any junk that's in the, because if you don't take care of stuff, it's never going to last. But the longer you take care of things, the longer they'll last, and the less money you're going to expend. But just doing things half-baked and half-aced always ends up costing you more money in the long run. Every time. Okay, now that we've got that as wiped off as we can, we're going to reapply the oil to every tooth. Now that we've got that applied, we're going to run it and get that oil worked in really good into the blade. Right there, you turd. Now, I just happened to be lucky and I actually stopped it where all the teeth and everything were directly on top of each other. Not that that's a big deal, but helps to keep things nice and lubricated. Always, always, always lubricate your blades when you're done. And then just wipe off any excess oil that might be still on the blades. And we're done.
One eternity later.
Now the product that I've chosen to use to help stave off the mites and any other insect damage is the Bioadvanced 3-in-1 Insect, Disease, and Mite Control. Now this product works exceedingly well, and some might ask, well, they didn't save your bush from last year dying and having to rip that out. You're right, but that was probably because I had not gotten to it fast enough and I failed to do that, and it was so far gone that probably nothing was going to fix it. But the key is, and the goal is now, is to stave off any future problems, any future infestations, and be able to help maintain the health of the plants that I do have, and to make sure that that new bush that I've had planted is not repeating itself, and I'm not having to go in and purchase a new one, because who likes to spend extra money that's not necessary? Let's go. Now the solution rate of application is 2.67 fluid ounces per gallon, and I've got a 2-gallon tank sprayer that we're going to use on this specifically. So we're going to mix this up and let's go kill some mites. Let them die. Now one of the key points to spraying, and it does state it in the instructions, is to make sure, and especially with the 2-spotted spider mites living on the underside of the leaf, make sure you're trying to get as much of the product sprayed upwards by probably tipping the tip up like this and getting as much underneath the plant as you do on top of the leaf. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for any notifications on any future videos being posted. Also, like, share with your friends, and please comment down below. It really helps. And we'll see you in the next one. these leaves are the results of two
Yeah.
spotted spider mites.
Yeah, they are. They're not okay.
She doesn't even know what she's talking about. She just
These
wants
brown spots on these leaves
to,
are
the
spiders.
spider mites. You want to see them?
Nope, not
They're
really.
right there.
See you later.
Oh, thanks. Now I got to do a retake. You turkey? Yeah, I do.